So today I'm going to be diving into 5 hacks for ChatGPT to basically turn you into a pro at using it. So to begin, one of the first things you should understand about ChatGPT is that when you type things in and have multiple chats that are saved, it does keep your data. It does store that data and it has information on you, and especially with ChatGPT 5, there is a memory feature that basically absorbs a lot of the stuff that you say, and it's not as explicit as older ChatGPT models where you'd have to instruct it to remember. It does just naturally remember some stuff, and it is stored in the data, and then it's stored with the data that ChatGPT itself holds. So when you have this, and let's say you're paranoid about your data, the easiest way to fix this, you can go into your settings and turn it off completely, but let's say you just want to have a simple chat with ChatGPT and avoid that. You can go up to the top right here, turn on temporary chat, and then as you can see here, this chat won't appear in history, use or update ChatGPT's memory, or be used to train our models, and that's a big one because they do collect data to train models in your normal chats. And then for safety purposes, we may keep a copy of this chat for up to 30 days. So you do have a risk for, I guess, 30 days or so, perhaps, because it's not even guaranteed, but this is your best way to avoid having it collect any of your data while utilizing ChatGPT. But there is always a 30-day period that it will hold on to it, and when you want to turn that off, you'd simply go up and click here, and then no chats are saved, no data is saved beyond the required data. Otherwise, most of your information that you're using there would be saved in the chats and, of course, with ChatGPT itself. So if you are, typing in sensitive information or asking sensitive questions, I'd recommend using temporary mode. Another cool hack for you to use on ChatGPT is just basically to use voice mode. Now, a lot of people are aware of this little microphone icon here, and that's basically if you wanted to talk to ChatGPT through your mic, you would basically be saying things, and it would record you, and it would pull it out into text. However, with voice mode, you would actually be talking to ChatGPT itself, and it would be responding with voice. So you can go ahead and click that. And then once you're in, you'd have to allow certain things and go through it. Because I'm recording, I'm not going to do that. But we're going to go ahead and close that off. And basically, you would toggle it on and then go through the prompts with the microphone on. And it would be able to respond to you in a specific voice. And you can go ahead and edit that voice to whatever you like. And that would be a voice that you would be hearing. That would be customizable on your end. However, let's just go ahead and toggle this off. Why is it still requesting this? Okay, so by going into voice mode, you can basically communicate with ChatGPT one-on-one directly, and you'd actually hear a voice speaking back to you. In your settings, you can customize whatever voice you like if you don't like that specific voice, but it's a way that you can talk to it as if it's another human, as opposed to simply using the microphone and chatting and getting text replies back. Another hack that you can utilize on ChatGPT, especially if you have the paid version, is custom GPTs. You can go up here and explore them, and you can see that there's different GPTs that are basically programmed for different ideas or concepts that you'd be using. For instance, there's a fitness coach, scholar if you're doing stuff with school, image generator, which is very specific to creating photos, and tons of other ones that people have created depending on the niche that you're looking for. Like, you can go into research and analysis, and these GPTs are basically programmed to be experts on that specific field. Now, what's cool is you can go ahead and actually create your own GPT, as you can see up here if you have the paid version, and you'd go ahead and create it and go through the process of everything that you would want it to be. You can have it you name it, you give it a description of what you would like it to do, give it the instructions specifically of how you would want it, you'd give conversation starters of what it would say initially upon talking to it, and all the other stuff that you can basically include. And you can also configure it by uploading documentation or other information to help it actually learn from that specifically. And then you would go ahead and create. You can also discuss with it to create itself, and then you can model it in whatever model you like. You can have GPT-5, Auto, or whichever other ones. You can also go into the legacy models as GPT-4.0. And as you can see here, I've already created a few of them. For instance, I have a Mac 5, which is great for online money making, and this is one of the ones for tournament creation in online football betting, and it's just basically a GPT that I programmed using some of the information that was readily available, as well as uploading documentation regarding the current rosters in the NFL. So you can basically create it and then discuss it to it regularly as if it's an expert, because it is somewhat of an expert based on your programming. But like I said earlier, if you don't feel like creating your own, you can go ahead and use ones that people have created. You can even type in, for instance, let's type football and see what's available. And you can see there's all kinds of different football GPTs that have already been created. So that's another cool hack for you to utilize. Another really cool hack and feature to utilize in ChatGPT is its projects mode, which is fairly new. And basically projects is just a concept to keep. It's similar to GPTs in the sense that you have a chat with it, and it stays, all the information that you have stays confined to that chat. So for instance, let's say you wanted to do, let's say travel, and you wanted to have a travel chat regarding something that you would want to be going. You could even just keep it as Copenhagen trip like they had initially, but for instance, we're going to keep it travel. We're planning a trip. So projects keep chats, files, and custom instructions in one place. Use them for ongoing work or just to keep things tidy. So for instance, if you're planning a trip, you can go ahead and put travel, go create project, and then you can give it the instructions of the trip that you are taking, and it'll stay confined to the project section. For instance, I can tell it that I am going on a trip to Greece. I am going on a trip to Greece on October 25th. And then you can continue to give it information from that point, and it'll, like I said, it will stay confined to here, and it'll be used as your little hub for that specific project, in this case a trip that you are working on. So you gave it the information, it's going to give you a bunch of other follow-up information, and it's already pre-programmed for travel, and then you can go ahead and upload documentation, for instance, flight tickets, or where you'll be staying, so that it can give you more ideas on how to plan your trip. For instance, create a checklist, budget and cost estimates, cultural spots, content ideas, etc., 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 depending on what it is that you are looking for. And you can do that with every other factor that you see here, or create your own custom version. You can also click settings up here and create it to default or project only. That way project can only access its own memories hidden from outside chats. I recommend doing this if you want to keep it completely confined. That way it's not pulling data from your other chats. And the last hack that I have for you today while using ChatGPT is that you can basically ask it to analyze images. It can actually look at images and give you information about it that you otherwise wouldn't understand, or you basically need help to understand, or if you just want to get a secondary take on it. Now, you can do this by simply uploading a document that you have. It could even be a graphic file or an image that you took in class or at work. Or you can actually copy an image from online and then go ahead and simply paste it and then ask it to please explain this to me in simple language. And you can also just ask it more information about whatever it is that you're uploading, and it can tell you. Now keep in mind, it's not always perfect. ChatGPT does make mistakes, so it's always best to double check, but it is a good way to get a secondary opinion on something that is visual in this case. So for instance, we asked it to explain to me in simple language about the employment status of homeless individuals by region. That's just a graph that I pulled up from online, and we're going to wait and see what it shows for us. And as you can see here, it goes into depth in simple English of what we see, and the big takeaways are that employment among homeless individuals varies a lot by region, the prairies have the most employed homeless people in the survey, etc., etc. So those are the 5 pretty interesting hacks that you can utilize while on ChatGPT to basically make you a lot better at using it. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.